Hey everybody, Marky here from Tactical T-Shirts. Just going to do a quick kind of drive-by video on a topic that came up on our social media yesterday, and it was in regards to idiot scratches on 1911s. Now, I guess I'm not going to address the subject directly because it was pretty derogatory in regards to the idiot scratch, which isn't that uncommon on the internet because you see a lot of these internet guys who they spend more time circle jerking than they do actually shooting. Hey, it is what it is. Couple things. Okay, back in especially the 70s and the 80s, before we had IDPA and a lot of the action shooting sports, most handgun competitions were based around extreme accuracy. So you would see guns highly accurized, especially the 1911. Other ones too, the Smith & Wesson 5900 series or whatever it's called, and whatnot. But well-fit slide rails, well-fit barrels, tight bushings, and then highly accurized triggers, or highly accurized isn't the right word, light, crisp, short take up, clean triggers. So, back then it was just a philosophy as far as how things operated. And what was common back then, a lot of this stuff today would never be tolerated. Some of it's not even known. So I'll start with the worst one, and then we'll go up into the idiot scratch and slide stop stuff. So a lot of these highly accurized 1911s, you got your sear nose. Let me keep the gun in frame. Sear nose engagement surfaces, and when you're operating at a high level of performance, you're sacrificing some durability. That's pretty much whether it's cars, guns, rocket ships, or anything. So what guys would do is you would literally, back then, it would be nothing to see somebody loading a gun. They would literally depress the trigger, and then you would see, try to keep it in camera in frame, they would ride the gun closed, or they would drop the slide and then release the trigger. Their thinking was they were trying to keep as much wear and tear off of those sear nose engagement surfaces, except for when they're firing the gun. Now, if you did that anywhere today, I don't even think people today even realize that happened, but if you did that somewhere, you would probably be asked to leave. And, rightfully so. But that was a real common thing back then. Well, with these guns, another area where a user who is got a lot of money tied up in his accurized baby, where they can try to keep some wear and tear down on their gun, is in the bushing area. So what you would see is, instead of people using their fingers on the GI plug, if they're using a regular bushing and not a bull barrel, which is a whole other different argument, instead of using the plug or a wrench, there's all kinds of wrenches. Actually, this one's kind of interesting. It actually works as a blank empty magazine thing. But instead of doing approaching the bushing and turning the bushing and putting metal on metal wear, what guys would do is they would, so I can keep this in frame, let's try to do it like this. They would push out the slide stop, that would take the spring pressure off the bushing, and then they could go in and turn their bushings as they need and take them out. That's kind of where that comes from. So then you would see people, instead of trying to turn the bushing when they're reassembling, you would see people put the guns together and try to do the same thing with the slide stops and ride it in and try to push it. And sometimes the slide stop would ride up, and you would get scratches on your slide or your frame and whatever. So, you know, it was in many cases, if that idiot scratch really is more a reflection of a different time, and what was a priority. Guys would maybe be less concerned, especially if you're a high-end gun guy, like supposedly a lot of people watching this video. If you're a high-end gun guy and you're more concerned about performance than cosmetics, that idiot scratch is the least of your worries. So, you know, look, we all have to be aware of the phrase idiot scratch. I probably first noticed it, heard it about 15 years ago, probably about the time 15, yeah, once you started seeing mass-produced semi-custom 1911s on the market, and so people could get brand new guns that didn't have a lot of, you know, previous owner history and wear on them, is when you started really seeing that term, at least when I noticed it. I'm not real happy with that term. I think it's a bullshit term myself, but, you know, it is what it is. So that hopefully addresses the question that came up on our social media about the idiot scratch and slide stops in 1911s, and it may not be the answer you were expecting, but it's the truth, and I'm sticking with it. So thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing and want to participate in this kind of content, please go to our blog page, john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. And remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. And everybody, have a good day.